Do you know that your mindset is a habit? Your sense of personal power is a habit. The quality of your relationships is an outcome of your interpersonal habits. Your net worth is based on your money habits. Your business success is built on your entrepreneurial habits. Your ability to create everything you desire is directly related to your habits. So I'm glad you're here right now listening to the Max Potential Habits podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda Barrientez, the founder of NFA Coaching, and every week I'll bring you tips, tools, and inspirational interviews that will help you learn how to cultivate strategic habits that will set you up to be a NFA habits master so you can create the life and business of your dreams on your terms. Now let's get to it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have a very unique and exciting episode that I think is going to bring all of you a ton of value. I have a guest speaker on who I actually found on Instagram, or maybe she found me. I can't remember exactly how it first started, but she does social media coaching, and this is Rachel Thompsen. She lives in Utah, and something I think that is really cool is that she has 4 young kids. So getting to know her pre-show, I found out she has an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-month-old. This is awesome because we all know as business builders that it takes a lot of time to build a business. And if you have kids, for those of you who are listening, that also takes a lot of time. So I haven't had any moms on yet talking specifically about building their business as they also navigate mom world. And Rachel came up with a really fun idea to do a real-time analysis of my Instagram profile to give you an idea of something that she would do with her clients, and also to give all of you some takeaway value if you're interested in building your business through Instagram. For those of you who have been following me for quite a while, you know that Instagram to me is my favorite go-to. It all started when I was a kid with quote cards. I used to have my whole room filled with quote cards. So when I ran into Instagram to think about my business building endeavors, I was like, oh, I love this. I get to have this art piece, this art side of me. And I struggled a little bit more at first with the pictures of myself in the videos because I hadn't done that before. But then I really got excited about how it's this creative outlet, and I started meeting really cool people. So I'm so excited to have Rachel on today, and let's welcome her. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. I'm sure that everyone is curious to know how you navigate both worlds of parenting and business building. What are the things you face?
Yeah, it's intense, and it's intense in a good way because it asks you to be really present with your children and then really present with your business, and to have a system in place that really supports that. And really what I do is just like that to-do list, that like bookmark, so that I can like transfer my attention from one thing to the next, and also just to be okay with when it's not perfect, when we're just going for it and just trying our best.
I think as a mompreneur, you've got to let go of a lot of perfection. Even just becoming a mom, you've got to let go of perfection because things happen all the time unexpectedly. And similarly, I was actually just having a conversation with another business builder about how your business becomes your baby, and how fascinating it is to watch the reflections of that. Because I have kids, but they're a lot older. So my free time and work time is very different than it used to be when I had young kids. I have a almost 21-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 13-year-old, and they're like independent out there doing it, and so I can easily work all day every day, and it's such a different reality with young kids. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into Instagram? What was the draw to you?
Yeah, it was a very natural progression. I have just on my own journey have enjoyed learning from life coaches and other self-development people and stuff, and just naturally started to tell people, hey, have you listened to this podcast? Have you heard about this life coach? Have you heard about some of these principles? And enjoyed sharing that with others. And after a few years, I was like, I want to tell more people. I want to tell people about life coaches specifically. And so I opened my account with that purpose in mind, just to have it be another platform for life coaches to come on and to share a message and to be exposed to more than just their followers, but to my followers as well. And I still do that, and that is still part of my business model and whatever. But what I found was that when life coaches were coming onto my page, they really didn't know just even the basics about Instagram. They were busy coaching, they were busy building their website and building their business, that the Instagram was just like, something that they were trying to figure out, but just was not, a focal point. And so I had a lot of fun helping them just in the basics, and also, since they do have an Instagram, might as well do just a few little tweaks here to make it work for them. And along with that, found that, of course, being on my account and being exposed to my followers is great, but they really then need to have their own awesome Instagram accounts for it to really pay off. So it became truly this collaboration of helping them build their account so that more and more people would learn from them from that place, and then also being on my account and allowing them, my followers, to have an account for them to follow.
Okay, awesome. What do you notice is one of the biggest challenges that people have with Instagram? Like when they're coming to you and they don't really know what they're doing, where are they stuck?
It's been a little different for all of them, but it's been just a lot of like, where is stories? And I saved my stories yesterday, and now, the handle won't work, and just small things like that. And then even just like how often do I need to post? And I just kind of threw it together. What does my bio need to say? Is there some purpose with it? And just, like those basics. And it's really individual, as I've so
yeah, I'm sure. And everyone has such different philosophies. What would you say? Would you say that there is a certain number of posts per week that's ideal, or does it vary by type of business? What's your recommendation?
Overall, it's just consistency and finding a place that, and that's what everyone says. And so I don't love that answer, but really, like for me, I post every day, but I don't necessarily think that is the most important thing to do. I do think engaging somehow on Instagram every day is helpful, and we can kind of get into the details of that. But as a principle, I kind of like to say, for every post you post, comment on 7 other people's, because it is that social experience. There's many benefits to that, but so like figuring out how much room you have in your schedule for that. I'm even fine if you post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because if that gives you time on Tuesdays and Thursdays to do the other things on Instagram, to fully use all the features that it has to offer. And so anyway, it's it's just whatever fuels you and makes you feel like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. Then even if it's once a week, you can make that work.
Okay. And so something I want to ask you, Rachel, is thinking about all that Instagram has to offer business builders, because we have on this podcast, it draws business builders, entrepreneurs, people in all different forms. Some people might not be business builders, but for the most part they are. What do you think? Like, just share some of the value of what Instagram brings. So you were talking about stories. I think most people know what that is, but some don't. And I'll give you an example. It kind of cracks me up when you're talking about this, because I didn't really start with Instagram until last summer. I think it was that's not true. I posted a few things starting about a year and a half ago. And then I got started being committed and dedicated and going, okay, I'm going to use Instagram as one of my platforms in about June of last year. And I remember such overwhelm in the moment. I was like, what are stories? What are these highlight reels? How do people do that? What does that even mean? And the difference between knowing all the rules. And it was really overwhelming at first. And now it seems like second nature because I've started to implement so many things and it's taken time. But when if someone here is listening and they're just getting started, what's your bare bones recommendation for them to go, okay, I'm going to take on Instagram because it's a very growing platform that a lot of people use. What would your recommendation be for them to start doing?
I would recommend that they start posting even just once a day. And I know that may sound a lot, but just to get the traffic going and then to add in hashtags.
Okay.
And then, yeah, for every post to comment on 7 people's, and you can do that, 7 other people, you can do that pretty quickly. And just that interaction with Instagram will help you grow. It wants to help you grow. And that's the way. Instagram is a great place to gather new people to you. And so that's kind of the perspective too with posting with hashtags, for instance, just introduces you to new people. And then also to introduce yourself to other people by commenting and not necessarily saying who you are in your comment, but just, listening to people.
So what I really hear you saying is engage. Use it as a platform to engage with your community, with the people you want to connect with.
Yeah. And you don't have to be, the other thing I would say too, especially in the beginning, our brain likes to, there is so much to learn. There just is. And also our brain likes to use that to not learn. And so I would say to just have fun with it, to post. It doesn't have to be this perfect thing. I've heard you share and other things that like there is this progression of like your style and how things go. And so just to start, and then when you're commenting on people's posts and listening to them through reading their captions, to not be worried if this is the right person to be interacting with, just to interact, because the idea is just to engage. And if it happens to be the person that's, going to really help your business, then great. And then if not, great. It's fine.
Yeah. I love what you're saying because, for me in the beginning, it was like, oh, what to post, when to post, how much to post, all these things. And then when I started to let go and just go, this is just a fun way for me to start to practice getting a message out there and bring value to the people who are being drawn to me. And just think of it as this, the more and more that I've let go of the perfectionist piece, which has always, been a problem for me in the past. And I've had to go like, screw perfection, just get it out there and be authentic and just do your thing. And don't worry about what other people are thinking in terms of the way I present it. I find that just bringing value and focusing on going, okay, I just want to share a message with people today. And then I want to encourage and support them by engaging through commenting on their posts. And that has just made it so, it's just fun. Instagram to me is very fun. And I wanted everyone who's listening, I want you all to know, we're on episode, I don't know what episode number this will be once it's released because I'm a few weeks ahead in interviewing. But by the time this is released, at this point, every person not every person, but let's say 95% of the people I've interviewed have been people I've met through Instagram. So it's really cool way to get to meet people. I've had collaborations with people. I've gotten clients from Instagram. And I don't have that big of a following. I think right now I'm around like 1,400 or somewhere around there. And I still have built my business through it. So it takes some time. And I like what you're saying. I know you say it, a lot of people say do the consistency thing, but it's true. If you are consistent, you show up, people start to recognize you're going to be there, and they see like, oh, Amanda and Rachel are consistently there. We get to engage. They know to expect us, and they start to see an overall flow of your brand. So let's do I want to hear what you have to say about my Instagram at the current moment.
Yeah. It's great. Okay. So, I'm just here in your profile. And so when I do an Instagram profile evaluation. I just kind of go from top to bottom. So
Okay.
I just
and so anyone listening, if you want to go there, it's at NFA Coaching is my handle. So if you go to Instagram and you type in NFA Coaching in the search, it'll come up just so you can go along with the flow of what she's looking at.
Yeah. And then also what I am going to suggest are, they're really principle based. So they're totally applicable to their Instagram profile as well. So you all get a profile evaluation just right here, right now. So, okay. So I start with their name, and something that I always tell all of the clients that I have worked with is just to consider that you will be called on Instagram, you'll be called by your handle. And so just to be aware of that. So like NFA coaching, people might call you NFA coaching, and that might be fantastic or not, just to be aware of that. It is helpful to have, like, for just in general, for people to have their name as their handle, just so that their followers feel like, oh, I do know them, because at least I know their name. It's easier to believe that we know people when we know their name. And but you have your name as the, like, right underneath your profile picture.
Yeah, my business name is my handle, and then my name is
Yeah. And so, like, I would just bring that awareness to, because I think it's totally fine. But there is also the option of flip-flopping those and doing, like, you know, for instance, Dr. Amanda Barrientez. And so
Barrientez.
Both, yes.
Which is why I didn't do my name, because it's too hard to spell.
So you just get to decide that, and then have like the NFA like flip off.
So I want to say something here that I think is interesting. So I actually changed my handle about in April, I want to say. I did a whole rebranding, because it used to be ABI Coaching, which stood for Amanda Barrientez Institute Coaching. And a lot of people would call me Abby. Right. And I was like, it's not Abby. And then I'd have to explain. I'm like, oh, this is not working. And then also I started, I've had NFA coaching packages and NFA, so it's the no fucking around coaching for business builders, and people all over my community in Boulder, like every networking event I go to would be like NFA coaching, and it really stuck. And I was like, oh, okay, this needs to be the brand move for me. Yeah. And so it's been an interesting process, even thinking about that piece you're talking about, like what, thinking about it from the client's perspective. For those of you who are building this for your business, what are they seeing when they go to your Instagram, and what does that name mean to them? And so for me, I wanted all of my handles to be the same, and my name is hard to say and spell. And so I was like, oh, and my business name makes sense for me. So I just wanted to say that. But I think I love that you're saying it's important to think about when you're starting, and also don't be afraid to rebrand and change it.
Absolutely.
It's necessary over time.
Right. Yep. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So then I love also your picture. Your picture is fantastic because it's you and you're close. And again, it just is easy for new people to feel like, oh, okay, I know her, just because they can see you really well, so that's really great.
Awesome. Then, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About this picture. So I notice a lot of people have like their company logo versus a picture. Do you have anything to say about the difference between those?
Yeah. So I would say if your services are you, like your skill and your personality, and you'll be working like really closely, then I suggest having a picture, because it adds that, like, I know you, I trust you kind of a feel. But if your services are more like product based, or like a program, and it's more formal or distant, then that's totally fine to have that logo, the company logo.
Okay. So great.
That's what I would say. And then, so with your bio, I love your bio. It's so great. And I just want to point out that the bio has one purpose with like 3 little steps. So the purpose is just simply to introduce new people to you, to help new people feel like they know who you are in 3 seconds. Because really, that's all you have. They're just going to glance at it. And so 3 things for them to learn about you is just who you are, what you do, and then what you can offer them. So, and again, you really only have about 3 to 5 seconds that they're going to look at this. And so I always suggest to have phrases as opposed to a complete sentence, because people can read a phrase in a second. And so to have a phrase of who you are, a phrase of what you do, and then a phrase, and then if not longer, I'm fine to have it be longer with the offer to get really specific of what they are offering. So I feel like you do a good job of this, because your name, just having your name be in the bolded is part of that profile. And then what you do, I think like is part of this as well. The coaching business builders who want to max their potential. And then one of the free offers, and I guess maybe like something that you do, I was thinking you could add max their potential podcast and just combine that's like one, like that's what you do. For instance, I don't know if that's the only thing that you want to put in there, but
yeah, you want to ask me this because it's something I've really struggled with, because I do so many things. Like I have books, I have workshops, I have coaching, I have podcasts, I have courses, all those things. So then I struggle with what to put in the bio, and I've changed it. At one point I was like, I wish I would have documented every change I ever did to my Instagram because it was like hundreds probably. And so this one, and what you're saying, I think I've had a lot of people contact me and go, I love your bio in terms of the NFA, no fucking around coaching, because not that many people are bold enough to like go for that and drop the F-bomb.
Right.
And so I think that I there's that mix that's hard, but and then I've heard people say not to max your character space in Instagram bios and all this, there's so many different ideas out there. So for you, while you were talking, I actually pulled yours up, and yours is so clear. So for everyone here, her handle is Rachel's _social _media _coaching. So Rachel's social media coaching. Very clear what she does. And it says, understand your social media strategy, serve more people, see my highlights to learn more. So to me, that is so clear. It's like I go, oh, I know exactly what you're doing. So when when you and I connected on Instagram, I went there and I'm like, awesome. And then it's colorful and there's all these things that drew me to you. And so I like that you're highlighting that in thinking about the bio. And I do notice when businesses don't have a bio, or they have a confusing bio, or they have one where I'm like, what do they do? I'm not quite sure here. And you also highlighted, so you said who you are, what you do, and what you offer. Mm-hmm. So also having that focus on the customer or the client. So that's awesome. That's great advice.
Right. So like with yours too, I think what you have is fantastic. And then I think you can even just like simplify it too, to just say, for instance, one example, because like these are just ideas. I'm a great like idea brainstormer.
Yeah, I love it.
And then like it's yours. So then you get to do it with whatever, however.
Totally. Yeah.
So like even just one word phrases like wife, mother, doctor, business coach, then you don't even have to say, I am a business coach, or I am a, whatever kind of coach that, or whatever services they offer, just to say it. And so then they don't have to waste time, like waste their characters on that. And the next line to just have Max Potential Habits podcast, because they know you're a coach, that you have a podcast, and then you're offering. I love the offering that you do have on your website, which is the 6 steps, the road map. And I would just say like to say that and with your offer, and to be really clear, so that if someone, rather than saying, oh, that there's this free offer, or here's my website link, why is someone going to click on that unless they're like super duper interested? But just in that like ballpark of people who could be interested, what is it, like tell them what they are going to click on by saying,
okay.
Get
So in your mind, like instead of links, it's like, what's the compelling reason to click?
Yeah, like
okay.
We're just feeding it to them on a nice little silver platter because they're brand new. They're always a little bit like, what can you offer me? And we're like, everything. We can offer you amazingness.
Yeah.
Here this all is, and it's super easy. Click on this. And then they know, what they're clicking on, and they know quickly like, oh, this is for me. This might be what I needed. And rather than having a general link.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about ways I can reconstruct it for the 8 millionth time.
Yeah.
But I love it. And I think, what you're saying to me is, and I want everyone to hear this too. This is important in marketing strategy. You're never a master when you begin. You've always got to start somewhere. You practice, you fall down, you go, oh, that didn't work. I've had days before I'm like, I lost like 100 followers and I don't know why. I think it had to do with the algorithms for like, it was removing bots or something, or I read about it. I was like, whoa, this has never happened. This is weird. And then again, I was like, you know what? If those people don't want to follow me, I don't want them to be in my NFA tribe anyway. And so it's that tension between like, I think a lot of people, especially business builders, are like looking at their number of followers and thinking about how important it is, and then comparing themselves to the people that have 15,000 and a million. And I love the idea of, I'm fine if I have a small tribe of people who are really engaged with what I'm doing and they really are interested in what I have to share with them, because they're gaining high value content, because it's what resonates with them, and that's why they've been drawn to my community. So as I keep shifting, of course I want to keep growing my following because it helps me build my business, but it's also like, okay, what's really working for people and why are they coming to see me? And so in the links, I love, I'm sitting here thinking as you're giving this analysis of how different wording I can use, even just switching to NFA, no fucking around coaching for business builders, period. And then like max potential habits, podcast coaching, summit workshops, or, whatever. Cause then it's so clear and very concise. And it's like a snapshot that they can see quickly instead of reading that whole sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also as you are saying that, it just, for me, this is how I approach my bio, is it's not just one and done, and it's going to be that way for the next even month or two. Like I like to change mine weekly, because then I can sustain the belief that like when people listen, read my bio, they're for sure going to click because I'm going to have, an amazing offer. I have this new amazing offer this week, or I have, something else that I'm sharing. And so I think that's like, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but that's one of the things that has gotten me to where I am, is just to be willing to change it up and to try and to just keep it flowing and keep it moving and not be so worried about all of the details of how you're going to get to the result that you want.
What I really hear you saying is have some fun with it and be willing to change it up. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I love your highlights. I love that you have highlights, and highlights, are from using stories. I think it's fun to have like the favorite books. People are interested in stuff like that, because it's like, oh, what is her favorite? Because that helps us get to know you a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And, so I really like that. And
real quick, I want to share with everyone highlights, because I know that gets people tripped up at first when they're brand new. So if you're brand new to Instagram, go online and YouTube Instagram story highlights. Like when I saw them at first, I didn't even know what they were called. So I was like, I don't know what that is. How did people get that there? Those are so cool. Mm-hmm. So, go do some YouTube searches and find out about them. All it is people posting on their stories instead of on their main feed. And it's a 15, on your stories, you can do 15-second clips, or you can split videos. And then you decide if those are images, or those are videos or posts that you want to highlight that will be permanently on your Instagram. So, I'm treating this episode as kind of like an Instagram 101 for people, and then having you as a resource if they're like, oh yes, I want to use Instagram as my go-to platform, then Rachel is your woman. Okay. So keep going.
Yeah. Well, and then with the highlights, the same 3 things are applicable here. Tell them who you are, what you're doing and an offer to help them. And that's what you'll find too in my highlights as well. So that again, when new people are like, oh, okay, and they've read my bio and they're still like, that I've captured them from that, then they can tap on my highlights and actually see me and hear from me and get a feel for my energy and my ideas, and see me say not exactly what's in my bio. I would suggest in using different words and say it in another way, and to have that there too. Again, Instagram is a great place for new people to meet you. And so just to have that filter in mind of like new people, they're someone who doesn't know me at all, some stranger, I want to tell them the most important things, and to have those three.
Awesome. So, and I've heard before that people scroll down and within the first 6 posts, they decide whether they want to follow you or not.
Yeah.
So, and your highlights, I think, are part of that. Of course, your bio, your picture, your highlights, and your first 6 posts, they're going like, oh, does this person resonate with me or not?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, with the overall feed, like the pictures and the grid, same thing. The grid is telling new people who you are, what you're doing, and what you can offer them. So just looking at your grid, you're telling me that you're a woman and you're a business woman and you have a podcast. And I get from just like from your images and things that you're professional and that you mean business. And that's kind of the feel that I get from it. And then what I like to, again, this is, it comes down to your own personal feelings, and it would be good to discuss back and forth. But the one thing I like to present to have my clients consider is to have some space. And also like with yours, you have a lot of black. And so I would go with that. And I would say, have a few more black images that have 1 or 2 words, one habit that they could do or implement or whatever, just to as a whole, there's just a little bit of space. And
so you're talking kind of about the aesthetics
and that's
of the whole, not just the single post, but the way that they look integrated together. Because
again, new people will that's how they'll see your profile is having it all together. And so I suggest like every 3 and then every 4 to have that blank space, every 3rd post and every 4th post, and to not have it be overly patterned, especially if your services are you and your skill and you want to be welcoming and you want that kind of a feel. Then I would steer towards a more balanced feed look rather than a structured pattern, whether it's checkered, which is really popular right now, or the columns. That's really fantastic for a business with services. It's a little more like structured and not as welcoming, and that works, and that's really helpful for some. So anyway, I would just kind of for those listening, take that into consideration of
so taking into consideration the whole, what I keep hearing you say that I think is really valuable for everyone to hear is think about it from the customer's perspective. And if you were looking at it through strangers' eyes, what are the main messages they're getting from your posts? Like, who are you? What does it say about you? What's the message you're delivering? And I know it sounds so obvious, but I think that we forget to do that sometimes in our marketing strategy. It's like the spotlight approach of focusing on your client and how are they seeing what value you're bringing them in an aesthetically pleasing way where they're like, oh, okay, I can digest this and I can see the organization, and this is all subliminal, right? It's like those subconscious messages that are being delivered through your Instagram. So partly I also want to say to everyone, don't overthink it. Just get out there and get started and start practicing, and you'll start to understand a flow of things. But I love what Rachel's highlighting is like, okay, if you want to start out with a little roadmap here, these are the really simple steps to start with and to consider as you design your Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Don't let our mind get overwhelmed and to not do anything. But those 3 things of like who you are, what you're doing, and what you offer is a good template for everything. And then just start. And even for me, like I don't always follow it completely with the plan I have. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, that's fine. And we just
today, this feels kind of fun, or this is what I want to share today.
Yeah. And a real time thing that I'm learning right now is this last week, I've had this aha of not only is just all of Instagram a great place for new people to meet me, but specifically they're going to first find me the majority of the time through my post. And so the post is a great place to gather in people and to get people talking and to start up a conversation and give them a space to be heard. And I have had a lot of success this last week, even just like really honing in that even the feed is the place to gather people and to hear from people, as opposed to giving them a nugget or like well, like some, what's the word, like a lesson or something.
I see. Oh, I love this. So you're highlighting that in terms of it, like your post being a driver to increase communication and connection between your followers, instead of feeling you have to provide value. The value is the question.
Yes, that's the word. And because once they start interacting with me, then the next thing they're going to find is then my stories, that we've talked about, the little, the circles up at the top. And I feel like that's what I'm learning right now, is that's where then the people who are following me, who are interacting with me, that's where then they would love to have some value there.
Okay, I love that. And of course, your questions that you put out there are based on your media and branding, like your message. Right. And your branding, and you're drawing people together into your community to have conversations in those areas.
Exactly.
Cool. Yes. Okay. I love it. And I love to look at people's evolution of their Instagram, and even mine. It's like mine is hilarious because at the very beginning I used to put like tons of words on them, like a whole novel on one post. Yeah. And so I just look at it over time, and I thought, wow, I think for everyone listening, it's like, just dig in. If you think Instagram is potentially the platform for you, or if you're already using it, just make some of these fine-tuned tweaks that Rachel is recommending and go from there. So I want to ask you, I always ask all listeners what your top 3 max potential habits are. And I know we talked a little bit at the beginning about you being a mama. And I know that you said that you would someday you would like this to be your full-time business, but that you're also navigating obviously like young babies and children. So what are the 3 max potential habits that you would want to share with everyone that you think have helped you get where you are today in life, in business, in motherhood, anything that stands out to you?
Yeah. I feel like what has in my business, what has really gotten me to where I am is thinking, this will be fun. Like just that thought where, like posting, I wasn't really on social media very much before this. This is just like what my niche and what my people need. And so to just think, hey, this will be fun. Even when like growing and interacting with people can be kind of scary, or like posting something that's super authentic or real time can be super scary. And our mind likes to say like, okay, this is going to be uncomfortable, but to lean into it and to be like, this is going to be fun. This is just going to be fun to see how this is going to work out. I loved in another one of your episodes, someone mentioned that, like we're so much more creative when we are positive. and
Yeah.
feeling good. And so I think rather than being like, I'm just going to fight this uncomfort, I'm just going to do it anyway, which maybe is fun for some people. And I think, another option there too is just to be like, it's uncomfortable because it's new and new things are fun. And just to,
I love this. I have to share with you too that in my mind, when I ran into your Instagram and started watching and seeing some of your posts, that's what screamed at me about you, was like, she is loving what she's doing. Like that to me was just apparent. So I love that. So congruent with the way that you show up in your Instagram. I see that. I feel that, like, that you make it about having fun, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think for me too, just a little thing right there is to notice what it is. Like for me, what is fun might not be what's fun for you. And what's fun for me then is trying new things. I'm like doing lives in a Marco Polo kind of a film. Marco Polo is an app that is just like a video back and forth. It's really casual. And I've been embracing that recently with my lives and just trying new things. That's fun. So
yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And another one. So my habits, they're thoughts. It all comes down to what we're thinking about. So a thought that's really put me into a lot of action that I go back to a lot is I'm not going to let my lack of whatever it is stop me from showing up and serving. So
what nice.
Yeah. So, I'm not, and I wasn't a life coach, but I wanted to help them. So instead of being like, I should probably go and get some things figured out first and then I can help them. It was like, no, I'm not going to let all of my lack stop me from helping them in any way that they need help and that they would like help, and to not let my lack of expertise stop me from just showing up with my whole heart, doing it my very best, and just kind of managing my brain that way. And
that's incredible. And I love that you're highlighting it. So true. Our thoughts are habits. So you're training your brain toward being like, okay, I don't need to be perfect. I don't have to have it all figured out, but I see where people need a solution and I'm going to fill it. And I'm not going to let my limiting thoughts hold me back from bringing people the value that they're looking for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay. What's number 3?
And the third one I did kind of already touch on, but it's just the ability to be in the present moment. And for me, this is very much a work in progress, but for me, what really works, or like the reason why I'm not always getting into the present moment, is because I am thinking of the loose ends, that still need to be tied, because for me, a mom of 3, I don't have these perfectly nice, clean set office hours of when I'm at work and when I'm not. And maybe no one does, I don't know. But when a child comes in that has, some mess issue that needs to be taken care of, I need to be able to let go of work and be able to focus on that. And so the habit here is, I call it a bookmark, or like a to-do list of, if I could keep working right now, what would I do? And to write down not a whole list, but just like the very next 2 things. What would I do if I could keep working right now? To write that down and write it down in detail. And then that helps my mind know that it's all wrapped up. It's waiting for me. I don't have to restart. I don't have to get into. I can just start right from where where I left off. And it helps my mind to believe that I can now focus on the present moment and get in with my kids.
Okay. And that's a great strategy. It's so true, because it's almost like a brain dump of what you need to do upcoming. So when you come back to it, you don't have to remember where you left off. You're there because you wrote it down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the same thing on the other end, where because there's always this unlimited list of things to do. So again, it's kind of like managing our brain to be like, yes, there are some things. Like if I was doing, mom stuff all day, for sure I would stay busy all day. And this is what I would do next, these next 2 things. And that's what they are. But now it's work time. So it just helps me then to focus. Now I'm working, and So
That's great.
having a
Awesome
bookmark.
tips. Awesome tips. Thank you so much. I really love this episode because it's very different than the ones I've done previously. And I haven't done that many guest interviews yet, but I appreciate that you're really in the startup phase of your business. And we're going to get to see you real time because I'm sure that you're going to continue to grow and flourish and thrive in your business. I just know it. So I let everyone know where they can find you and how they can contact you if they do want to work with you on their Instagram accounts. Because I'm sure they're going to want to know.
Yeah. So you can check out my Instagram at Rachel's Social Media Coaching with underscores. And then just DM me if you are interested. I right now am doing free 1-hour consultations. And what that is like is you bring all of your questions, your ideas, your concerns about Instagram, and we delve in and kind of we're able in that conversation to sort out the brain and the overwhelm, the trickiness of our brain, and all the questions that our brain comes up with aren't helpful, and then the legit questions, and being able to answer the legit questions, and then be able to really manage our brain around the actionable steps that we can take with Instagram.
Okay.
And I also do these free Instagram evaluations as well. And so just DM me and we will schedule something.
Awesome. Okay. And then from there, once you have that hour consult, then you can go, okay, here's the strategy where I'm going to help you implement.
Yeah.
And together you implement the plan for them to grow their Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. I have a 3-month program.
Okay.
Where we chat once a week. And it's really, really great this program is really, really great because I have a lot of ideas. I mean, we just hit the tip of the iceberg with even just your account, have so many ideas, and the feedback that I get from just a free chat with me is so much information, so much. And that's where then that's exactly how we grow, is we gather so much information and then we get coaching on it because our brain doesn't want all
definitely
that.
I have to say, in the beginning of taking on Instagram, I remember there was a lot of overwhelm. It was like, whoa. And it doesn't need to be that way, but it feels that way when you're stepping into complete unknown territory. And for me, I wasn't a social media person at all. And so it was all new and it seemed very overwhelming. And so I think it's an incredibly valuable service that you offer to help people, kind of hold their hand through that process.
Yeah.
So they have a roadmap so that they can get their Instagram launched in a way with help. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Cause if you're growing that fast and that big and implementing all that I say, you're going to want someone there to watch your brain and to help you stay moving forward.
Yeah. Keep you in check.
Yeah.
Keep you in check in the place of this will be fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. If you're new to Instagram and you're getting ready to get started, this will be a very valuable episode for you. So thanks for listening all the way through. And I will be back next week with another Max Potential Habits podcast. I hope that you all have a NFA day where you thrive and feel alive. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you're liking this podcast, help spread the word by subscribing, sharing, leaving a rating, and a review. To connect, go to nfacoaching.com, where you can join the Max Potential Habits community and get access to all of my free and paid resources. There's daily inspiration on Instagram, IGTV videos, access to the Max Potential Habits LinkedIn group, and links for working with me in the live weekly Max Potential Habits online group training, the NFA Money Magnet Habits online course, and if you're really serious about taking it to the next level, you can also schedule a Max Potential coaching consult. Until next time, I hope you have a NFA day where you thrive and feel alive.